So welcome everyone to Catch 22. This title was like something that really got me like excited about because the very definition about it, the fact that, so I'll read the definition to you. So Catch 22 is a problematic situation for which the only solution is denied by a circumstance inherent in the problem or by a rule. So that is something that we all experience, like with money, right? How much of hate is, hate of money is there, like to earn it, to always look after all that money, to always calculate it, and what all PTSD that it creates in our world, in our bodies, and how much of it is locked up in our bodies. So, and then on the other hand, we are also asking for like millions and millions of dollars, and to have all the ease and uh, you know basically we ask for it, but at the same time we have these secret agendas with money that we are not even aware of. So by the way, just feel free whenever any question comes up, feel free to unmute yourself, and this is an interactive call, so just do ask questions. So the fact that while growing up, how much have we been fed with the fact that money is evil? And, that has just like, it's constantly there in our spaces. And how much have we grown up always defending and avoiding all the points of view that our parents had around money? So, that doesn't give us that space of having ease and being the magic that we can have, because we don't even know what is having ease with money. Like if you have been growing in a household which is like always calculating money, always having that um, stress around money, obviously you're going to be like that tea in that carrot soup thinking that it's the carrot. So my question, one question only, is that what is the money, the meaning that you have attached to money? So once we get clear with that, can we actually explore further? So any volunteers who would like to come up and talk about it? What is the meaning that you have attached? Yes, Kalpana.
Sorry, I think I unmuted myself by mistake.
Oh,
Meaning, anyway, I can ask always. Meaning is like, we think that, this money will bring us luxuries, will bring us what we want,
hmm.
things that we require. So that's what we look at money as.
And like there must be more meanings attached to it. Yes, definitely luxury and all that we know. But what does it mean to have money? Like, for example, for me, it was, the fact that at all times we were, I mean, there was all the abundance that was available to me, but there was this constant conflict between my mom and my dad, where my mom was constantly, in her world, there wasn't that abundance. And I grew up with the idea that, oh, does it have to be that difficult? For my dad, it would come so easy. And he was like, that amazing, amazing provider. So now, even though I am aware of it, it just keeps playing in my head at all times. Like if I am conducting my day-to-day life, that program is constantly there, like, oh, if I choose this, what will happen? How am I going to create that much money? Is it even possible? So that doubt keeps seeping in. So what is the scenario that I'm asking for you? Like, what was it? What was your scenario growing up? Yes, Abir.
Hi. So happy to share in all vulnerability. Um, Growing up can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think someone,
Okay, someone needs to be muted.
yeah,
Yeah.
continue.
So I'd say growing up, like it's very interesting, like how these experiences kind of determine what meanings we assign to money. Like when money is actually like uh takes the blame for everything, takes the fall, is the fall guy,
Yes.
basically. So for me, like I think growing up, money was always like there was always a shortage of money. And interestingly, like, what I saw was that uh when we were having like a very bad time as a family with money, uh pretty much it was a struggle, so money often became the reason for a yes or no to things I wanted, like it was either because of money you can go, because of lack of money you can't go, you know, that kind of thing. So for me, it was like if there is money, there is
So it's like a
freedom and choice.
either or universe. You can
Yeah,
either have this or that. And if money is
correct.
not available, then you cannot go forward.
Then you don't have choice.
So creation stops. So creation is
Correct.
so dependent on money. Is that
Yeah,
even true?
it's not right because you choose and then the money shows up. I mean, that's what has been like uh, my experience after using these tools. But
Hmm.
having said that, when something has been such a solid part of your growing up experiences, it
Hmm.
still shows up, and then you have to remind yourself that that's not true.
Yeah. Yes. But that being said and done, it's still that hate, which is so prominent. So it then just really like is the rule thumb then, unless and until like we reach a certain amount of money where we become relaxed about it, and then it's about growing from there. But to get to
Yeah.
that space with that particular amount which is going to really like give us give our bodies that ease and like, oh wow, sigh of relief, now it's okay,
Hmm.
now I can live my life. But then
Hmm.
again, we have made ourselves the effect of money, something
Exactly.
outside of us which is like uh which is greater than us, and us being happy depends on that.
Uh-huh. It's
So
as though we make it the oxygen for living.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and then it also stifles our creativity. So what
Uh-huh.
else is possible from there?
Yeah,
Every
poor money.
right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pod, all mine shorts, boys, formats, and beyond. Yeah. See, you were saying something?
It's me,
Oh, Farah, yes.
Farah. Yeah. So my parents come from a very different background in the sense of um, comfort of living. My mom was growing in a family of a very renowned surgeon and doctor, one of the biggest doctors in the country, looking after a huge part. As well as my dad was coming from a family of quite an impoverished family, but they were all very gifted and talented. So they grew to be who they became eventually, but based on their knowledge base. Now, the land that we come from back home is very well known for us being practical with money. And they call us the Jews of Azerbaijan. I mentioned that in the
You
foundation once.
mentioned it, yes.
And my father always had the saying, which after I've had this other come across with money saying that, what if you had too much and never enough? This crazy phrase. I think my father basically did create a crazy phrase of his own, because it never made me feel lacking. He always used to say that we are not rich enough to buy cheap things. And an outside world has always seen us rather wealthy, and we haven't been poor. We were a very good established
So,
family, traveled a lot, and
we
seen the
we
things.
are not rich enough to buy cheap things.
Yes,
Can you say that 3 times?
we are not rich enough to buy cheap things. We are not rich enough to buy cheap things, and we are not rich enough to buy cheap things.
All the CHICU implants and explants. We are not rich enough to buy cheap things. Can we see that on uncreated across
Yes.
time, space, dimensions, and realities? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and pod. All 9 shorts, wise, go on, and beyond. Continue.
So that was basically what my father was operating from, I believe, because that's what I always heard from him. And yet again, we've been all right. We've never been lacking. But there was a time when Soviet Union collapsed, structure collapsed, and I started to work early. And all of a sudden, I was earning more than my parents, and specifically my father. And so it had eventually become quite a responsibility for me to be a budget supporter of the family. And I've always been good. I've always been generating cash from different resources using my own skills. So it's interesting how we've never been poor, we've never been wealthy in that sense, but we had a lot of other things happening other people could not even closely afford. You know, we were always dressed as per the Western world. We always traveled to East Europe, and I've seen things that a lot of people didn't have an access to, and that's probably the way I grew out eventually, is and made certain choices, was completely dependent on that, and because of that. But I remember a few moments when the money has always been a factor that they looked at. Living comfortably, never been discarded, much like the Jews would. They never discarded.
Even though the Jews are very famous for their robust, sense for money, and how they're very clean with their accounts.
Exactly. And that's how my father was, and that's how I am capable of keeping up things, and so there's a lot I took and learned from my father, and I guess that was one of the reasons my husband was asking me, how did you do it? How did you start again earning money? How did you move on? Because I guess there never had been that kind of a block in my mind that it is impossible, and how do I do that? But with the circumstances that a certain level of fear still settled in, because it was something that I never experienced in my life before. I never had that kind of situation. I really had to learn to see how to come out of it. But the concept of that knowledge, or the attitude my father generated at home, and he always chose good things. We always had the best quality food, the best quality clothes, but we've never wasted money on things. There was always a level beyond which he'd never spent on neither shoes, not on clothes, and then food was the most important thing. When it was my mom's birthday, he'll come with the pack with the 1 kilogram of apples, and my mom was like, "Where is my flowers?" He's like, "The flowers will be thrown in a day or two, but these apples can be eaten for days." And it was always the fight reason. It's like, how is it possible? It's my birthday and you come in with apples and saying that the flowers will be withered. So for him, it mattered. He always had the value behind what he spent.
So
I'm not sure what that created, but it definitely did not put me in a space where I found it impossible to move on or create or earn. But it still kept a certain level of lead on how far I can go with it,
Yeah.
And that's what I'm working with to, reduce the tension about that.
But do you have to work on it, is my question, Farah?
As in?
You are perceiving it as though it's a tension, but from what you said, the fact that there was value on what you spend, like, yes, the apples that they're going to be there for days and they're going to nourish your body, yes, that has more value than the flowers. You see the polarity over here. On one hand, it's like, money is so valuable that you cannot like spend it on something that's going to be
Joyful.
joyful, but you spend it on something which is a necessity.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so
that's the polarity, as it seems, that my father was operating from. I
yeah.
don't see it that way. If I want something to really like give me that bright feeling and then light feeling, I just
Yes.
go for it.
Yes. So
But
can you
I'm not a
acknowledge?
spender. I don't spend unnecessarily. Like, I don't go window shopping and just shopping just for the sake of it. I do not try to solve my bad mood by buying things. So I don't have this kind of, crazy fallouts as well. I'm very, I think I value what I have and how I earn it. And yet again, I have everything that is required for a comfortable life. Yes, I have the situation that I'm improving. I have gone from no somewhere right now, and it just keeps changing for the better. And
So can you acknowledge the fact that you have grown beyond your parents' limitations?
yes,
And
absolutely.
the polarity that I'm talking about is the fact that you constantly have to then, like, if you were to operate from how your mom was operating with money, you have to constantly judge each and everything that comes across you as either valuable or something that's just a crazy expense.
Yeah.
So is that working for you? Because that involves so much judgment. Rather, you can, there is a space where from which you can actually like choose. You have choice. You are not at the effect of your parents' programming.
Yeah, but I don't operate specifically from that place. I don't go like my mom. My mom was she could be a waster. My father, on the contrary. But I am neither her nor
But
him. I'm somewhere in
waster,
the middle.
just now you said your mom is a waster, but based on what? What is the measuring?
On some of the things that she did later on, when my father was no longer around, she was somehow irresponsible with her own, expenses.
Yes,
Instead
but
of
then
yeah,
to decipher that, you also need to judge the fact that she's responsible or irresponsible, right?
yeah,
Rather than just having choice, like, okay, this is something. What if money was there like a sugar daddy, rather than an authority outside of you?
yeah. And that
Not
was
that
before.
we don't allow ourselves to be taken care of by money. Can you
Yeah.
please destroy and uncreate it?
Yes, of course.
Right,
Yes,
wrong, bad, talk, all nine shorts, boys, bads, and beyonds.
mm.
So you see
Those things
what,
were earlier the matter that I was more concentrated at years back, and that was from that space things were also happening. But yeah, of course, there is something. The program is still there. A certain level of program is still there, and it's always showing up somehow.
yeah.
But lesser so, the more I work with Access and all the other modalities, it's weakening.
So it's this whole system where we like set up these priorities. So whenever priorities and commitments, so whenever these priorities and commitments, they are operating actively in our space, that is where implants can be inserted in our space.
Yes.
So, and then once that is inserted and you have not correctly identified and cleared that, and then you act on it, you cannot, like, it keeps going on in your space. So that does not allow you to really like there will be money is coming in. Yes, definitely it comes in. But then it just comes to a certain level, because then beyond that, it becomes like we have defined it in our space as it's a waste. It's a waste to spend on certain things. So yeah, what else is possible?
Sure. Yes, beautiful.
Awesome. Any more questions? So it is the commitments to these priorities that are actually, running our space. So I have a few clearings that we can, and I'll be putting them up on the chat over here as well in some time. So how many conflicting priorities do you have that keep you from having all the capacities you have in all the areas of the life you are not currently living? Everything that is times a gazillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyond. How many priorities do you have that keep you in a constant state of conflict with you? Everything that is times a gazillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyond. How many capacities have you hidden and put away so dynamically that you can't find them? Everything that is times a gazillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyonds. How many priorities, priorities, optimum priorities, and everything that I haven't asked for do you have for having no money? Everything that is times a gazillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyond. It's these conflicting universes between all the programming set by your parents or any authority figure right from your first breath that are running your space. So to have them unraveled is what's going to actually start creating the money for you. Any questions? Mariam, do you have a question?
But I'm on and off.
Mariam, your voice is very low.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Is it better?
Yes.
So, my question was how much of a conditioning from the childhood and parents you carry along when it comes to money conditioning, and how can I just undo it with access?
So this is with these clearings that I am about to post. Just a second. Okay, it's too long. The message is not going through. Anyways, so tell me more about this conditioning. How was it? What was money meaning for you all this time?
Okay, so in short, for me, money means that when I have money, I have to repay debts created either by the parents or myself.
So everywhere that you don't want to have money because it is going to go away, can we please destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, all nine shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyond. So would you rather not have the money because you have to pay it off?
No, I would love to have it.
So what is paying debts for you like? What is that in your world?
It's like responsibility kind of a thing.
So, would it
So
mean that?
I'll tell you how it has worked in my space, like in a short this thing. So as a child, I was raised like with very rich parents and rich grandparents, and everything was provided. So I always felt, oh, money just comes in. And then suddenly I saw a polarity when suddenly there was no money at all because it was not handled well. And the whole cycle of, poverty consciousness began when I was around 16 or something like that. And the whole responsibility kind of turned on me when I was around 16, 17 for the entire family. And I took it on without realizing that as a child, you're not supposed to do that. So what happened is, I can say till last year, it was like that, where there were very poor boundaries with money. It's much better now.
Yeah.
But I have watched myself with money, and I see that I create a spending plan before I create, like, a credit plan, to my earnings.
Yes, this
And
is
I'm
where
never deficient. Like, I've always had money.
this is
So, and I
where
told
I
you
am
that
talking about. Yeah, this is where I'm talking about the hate of money. You know, the fact that you were like, at the age of 16, like you said, the fact that you lost, like your family lost all the money and all that PTSD that builds up, the body then just, says like, because it's where we associate money with everything that goes on with the body, and all the stress in that environment. It's like you're naturally just like all the time sucking it out of your parents. You're trying to make it better for them. So everywhere that you are trying to heal it out of them, will you now give that responsibility back to them?
yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, bogads, and beyonds. No one can heal it out of anyone. It is the individual's choice. And you might have perceived it as though, like, it's associated with the family and, the fact that but you don't know what has transpired. Your father must have been the, solo breadwinner of the family. All the emotions,
like
all
7
the
pages and I want to finish.
that were going on in his space, you have no idea how he created that. So, and that has nothing to do with money. Your individual capacity to, work with money and create it and generate it. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Which is why they, where we have given up the capacity, that clearing, to generate the money.
Yeah.
So, it has nothing to do, or whatever that transpired, it has nothing to do with your capacity to create. And everywhere that you're going back and forth, thinking that, oh, because that has transpired, I have to, you're subconsciously creating it again and again. And that, resistance to debt. That if I have so and so amount, then I have to sit and pay it off. So I'd rather not have the money.
Yeah.
Firstly, the problem is not even yours.
I know that.
Yeah, everything that is, can you please return to sender with consciousness attached and acknowledge that it's not ours, and ask, what is my capacity with money? What is my reality with money?
Yeah, it's like abundance is first thing that comes.
Yeah. Because that's what you manifested as you were born. Everything was there. You just said, right? It was all there.
And it feels like I like to make it hard. It can come easy, but I make it so hard. It will come, I know, but there's like this kick that I get when it's hard, and I've made that my reality in all aspects.
So do you have to prove that, do you have to prove that you have a capacity to create by making it difficult in the first place? So with ease of money, you cannot prove anything. And do you have to even prove anything in the first place? And
Yeah,
who
good question.
are you proving to? Everything that is, can we please destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, soft and hard, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyonds. There was a sense of relaxation.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Hiral.
You're welcome. Any more questions? I have another question. Who or what would you piss off if you had too much money?
Parents.
Relatives.
Everything that is, can we please destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyonds. Alina says her mom. Shilpa, who all would you piss off?
A lot of people that I know.
And say more.
A lot of I would say a lot of people that I know would get pissed off if I made a lot of money.
So in that case, you can have less money, Shilpa. It's okay. You're too kind.
I know I'm not choosing more money. Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm not choosing. I'm not choosing to step up or level up. Yes. I'm choosing to be poor.
Yes. Everything that is, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyonds.
Yes.
And, a lot of you are saying your parents. What is it with parents? Would you be angry if you guys were too rich? Anyone? Any comments?
Not with me.
So the fact that we are
And my husband.
yes, your husband. You cannot go beyond your husband's, capacity to create. But there is another whole aspect that we need to talk about on that. I will not go into it, but I'll give you a gist of it. The male who is there in a relationship, he loves to be the provider. So, that being said and done, that doesn't mean that you have to stop creating less money. And because then you are also projecting the fact that he's going to be angry. So you projecting it that he's going to be angry if you are going to outcreate him is going to make him angry, because your point of view creates your reality. So how is that working for you? Suha? Any comments on that? Not good. Okay. Everything that is right and wrong, bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyond. Alina, you have a question?
Oh, all my questions today already people ask. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. So if you have no questions, then I will be sending across these clearings on I have your email addresses. So because the chat is not allowing me to type a very long message. So I will send them across to you, and I would like to invite all of you for my upcoming Right Riches for You class. I will be sending across the details for that as well. The Right Riches for You beginning class is it really like dives deep into this concept of hate for money. So this is really very deep, and you know it really like gives you that awareness of what exactly is it with money that you have like assigned meanings to. And there is also like other things that we talk about it in that class, where we are uh, talking about taxes and investments, and the elements of generating wealth. So you are all welcome and invited for this class. The prerequisite for this class is that you must have done the foundation within 12 months, or any advanced class with Gary or Dane within 12 months. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Hiral. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.